Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Dearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends. And remember, no matter who you are valid. I have a whole bunch of different angles that I can show in my room when I'm recording this. I mean, there's just straight facing one of the four walls, or I could face one of the four corners. Problem is, what we see here, the walls are like off-white, and my skin color is off-white, and my hair is kind of off-white, so I tend to blend into the background here. So I'm gonna try and add some color back into myself, which I've been doing lately, and my video editor is going through and color correcting to add some color so I don't just look flat all the time. Yay, hopefully your day as well. I have my med manager appointment today, and so my schedule is all thrown off. It isn't for like another 2 hours, and I'm already nervous and antsy. And I've had these appointments. It's nothing. I just talk to her, and we talk about what's happening, how I think the meds are going, and today I'm going to ask about Vyvanse. I mean, it's not a thing. It's not a problem. I've talked with her a lot. Like, for 2 years now. So it's not like it's a big thing. It's just that it's a break in schedule. And the kind of autistic person I am, I really need routine, schedule, and habit. And so when that's broken up, it just affects me in that kind of way. So I'm all tore up, yay. Especially since, I can't remember if I talked about this. Well, of course, if it was yesterday, I couldn't have. Or was it the day before when I went to my doctor's appointment, but it had been canceled? Yeah, and then yesterday I had therapy. We talked about a lot of things. I can't remember any of the specifics. I'm having pain in my sternum right now. And it's like literally in my sternum. Problem with that is I have had arthritis and bursitis in my sternum a lot over the years. So the fact that my sternum hurts, joy on that. So hopefully I'm not just going to keel over dead. Speaking of keeling over dead, I just found out some wonderful stuff. I mean, I have 3 stepsisters. And of the 3 stepsisters, 2 have had their husbands die. Well, one was a husband. One was, they'd been together since forever, but they weren't husband and wife. But then the other lost her husband. And then one of those that was still going had a heart attack in the widowmaker part of your heart, where it's generally, that's it, you're dead, you don't survive those. And he survived it. But he's also got a horrible medical thing where it's like worse than MS, except you last longer. So he's in a motorized wheelchair. Turns out he's got some kind of cancer. And the other stepsister, whose husband also died, she got together with someone, got remarried. He's got cancer now, which as you get older is very, very, very likely. In fact, the older you get, the greater your odds of getting some form of cancer. In fact, if we were immortal, you would get cancer at some point with the systems we have. It's just eventually cancer will kill you. It's just that sometimes when cancer will kill you is longer than our lifespans are anyway. It might be, oh, this will kill you in 200 years. Good thing we only live for like 80. So, yay on that. But that's joyous stuff a-happening. But past that, I'm trying to remember the various things that, oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this in my background. I don't know how well you can see that. That's the only reason I'm talking about these people on the background here is because I started doing YouTube stuff at about December 2014 because my wife had died like 6 months earlier, and I was circling the drain, and I didn't want to go down that drain. I wanted to keep living. And the only thing I knew with how I've been abandoned by every other support system was to reach out and grab for YouTube. And I started making just desperate videos, you know, of gameplay and such, until I started doing reactions, and then just leaned into reactions, which I hope to get back to music reactions here as soon as things settle down, so that my head can go, okay, less of a hurricane, more just a strong wind. But with these two, I remember back when they were with the multi-channel network Machinima, and I never really watched them, but I knew that they were there. And then Machinima exploded along with a lot of the other MCNs, and they've just stuck around. And for whatever reason, I started watching the two of them after the Machinima explosion and implosion, and then just they went out on their own. So I'm actually glad on days when they have sponsor reads, because they don't get a lot of ad stuff. So yay on that. But that's why I've got a picture of these two back here. So thumbs up on that. But past that, the only big thing that's happened, I was looking at the can again and addressing the can back there. Look at the camera. I actually, well, I'm going to talk about this first, because I got to bed late. It was around 1 o'clock. And I actually woke up earlier, but later, because I woke up past 6 o'clock. It was close to 7 when I woke up, which makes sense because it was around 1 o'clock when I fell asleep. I had eaten 3 melatonin gummies, which I can tell they had an effect. I was leaning back on my bed, and I have another pillow that I put my arm up on, and then what I do is I lean up, turn off my bedside light, grab the pillow, put it in the bed with me, put my arm up on the bed, and then, you know, wiggle around till I'm comfortable and then fall asleep. When I woke up at almost 7 o'clock this morning, the pillow was still over on the table and the light was on. Between the time I lay back on the bed and said, okay, gotta grab the pillow, I'm getting up to grab the pillow, I fell asleep. Just boom. So I was only partially covered with the sheet and just slept through it. Yay, melatonin is good. I mean, I wake up now with energy. I woke up when I got out of bed, because it was close enough to 7. It was slightly after 7. And I've mentioned before how I would start getting ready for bed around 7, and I'd be done around 9. And that bothered me because it was taking up so much time. I was ready before 7 o'clock. I was all done and ready for the day by 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. It took me less than an hour. Stuff that was taking me 2 hours before. Yeah, sorry about all that. 8 o'clock. All those triumphant 7s is a triumphant 8. Less than an hour. Ready to go. To be nervous all day because I'm waiting for my appointment. But being able to sleep is amazing. So yeah, I'm gonna keep taking melatonin as long as I can, which means periodically I gotta not, so that my body still keeps making it on its own. So hopefully I'll keep doing that. Now hopefully I can remember what I was talking about. Actually I can. I have been, since I took half of my games and took them back to my storage unit so that I wasn't caught with just choice paralysis with my board games over there. I have been breaking out. I've been clearing off my one table that's below my windows because I bought it for gaming, but I put stuff on it because I got stuff. I've been taking my stuff off, and I almost played it the day before, but last night I played not a ton of it, but enough to get a good feel for the game. Scalantir, or Scalantir, give it that accent. And there's no dice, there's no real chance in that. When you're the little badger Vogter, there is 4 cards, and each turn you can choose an action on one of those cards. Some of the actions are multi-part, in that once you start the chain, you have to run to the bottom of it. Some of them are you have to fulfill requirements, and then you can do it. But the round is You have your hand of cards. You take a look at what you can do with those cards by making a choice. You can get rid of the adversary cards out of your the future bin, which is just a stack, sideways stack of 3 cards that is the future. This is things that you go, oh, I want that card. So you got 3 to choose from. But an adversary card, when you draw from the deck, it just takes up a spot. You can't choose it. But now you've only got 2 slots here. And if you draw a second one, well, now you've only got 1 card as a choice. And there's only one way to get rid of those, which is Bonter's Wrath. And it gets rid of all of those, and it uses up your adversaries in the forest. And yeah, there's not a whole lot of chance, especially since one of the things you do to win is you have to get rid of 6, I can't even remember the word that was used for them, but there are 6 bad guys. And if you can defeat those 6, well, minions, if you can defeat those 6, you're able to escape from Garmley Eric, which I'm trying to pronounce it the way it's supposed to be, which I haven't checked it up. I'm trying to do it out of the book. And it's, even though it's Gamle, in English it would be, Gamel or Gamley. It's more Garmley. And then Eric, more Eric. So I've been trying to pronounce it that way. But when you have the cards of the forest on the table, anywhere from 6 cards to 8 cards, and you have your badger on one, and there is the devil chasing you, that is not a literal representation of the forest. It is a metaphorical representation of how far away the badger is from escaping with the devil on your trail. The closer the devil is via the cards, the greater the devil is following the clues, tracking you better, able to hear sounds and go, oh, I need to go in that direction. And when the devil is further cards away, they're more wandering and going, gosh, what, where, listen, look, where is a track mark? And they're more confused while looking for clues to follow you. So it is a very metaphorical representation of your zoom through the forest, trying to use your allies to break up the minions so that you can escape. But again, no chance to it in that fashion. Each of those cards that you can draw allows you to do certain things, but each card you draw has a cost to it where you have to do something. And sometimes that thing you have to do is move the devil closer to you on the cards. Sometimes it's very bad. You have to move to the closest ally in a clockwise fashion and then move the devil. But if you don't want to do that, there is a risk draw where if you draw the top card on the deck, and if you draw an adversary card, well, then the devil moves 2 cards closer to you. But if you draw any other card, well, there's no penalty at all. The devil stays way back and you get to draw a card for free. So there's an incentive to try. But when you can take these cards, and each of the minions has a cost of 2, 3, or 4. And that's the number of allies you have to have in the forest to get them down. So if you can lay down 2 hidden allies in the forest, and one of those bad guys only takes a 2, then on your turn, Bonter's Wrath, you burn through those 2 allies and remove that bad guy card. So you got no allies left, but you can still keep playing new allies. Now, one of the bad things that can happen is when they're in the forest at first, they're hidden, but they can be exposed. When they're hidden and the devil lands on them, they're not hurt. If they're exposed, they go to the discard pile. But you've got to wipe out all those, and so the turns are, you take your hands and you choose something to do from the 4 cards that have the choices on them. And that lets you lay cards or something like that. And when you're done, you just refill the future and it starts over. So if you have 4 people, it just does that with all of them. If you just have 1 person, it goes fast because it can just be, okay, Wagner's command, position, lay down a card, done. You're ready to start over again. So it goes pretty quick, and moving those little wooden things around on the table with the, especially since things can get tough. I forgot to mention this part. The trees are set down in their healthy fashion. What can happen is some of the things they can get withered. Then you flip them over to their unhealthy side. If you draw another card that's withered, that tree gets taken out of play. So suddenly, instead of 6 cards, you only got 5. Oh, that devil's a whole lot closer now. A whole lot closer now. Luckily, you can heal trees. And there is a thing I mentioned, Wagner's Wrath, where you remove all of your allies from the forest and you remove all the adversaries out of the future so that you can get a fresh thing going. But you can only place 1 type of ally, and there are like 6 different kinds of allies. So once you place 1 of them down, all the rest of those are, you have to burn them for what they can do for you, because you can't place them in the forest. And I played a couple of rounds of that. Very good game. Very, very good game. I had to stop because I was getting too heavy and things were starting to get hard to think. So boxed it all up, put stuff away. But that's a good one. That is a very good one. Want to play that one for the channel. Yay for that. A very good thing. One of the problems, of course, I like to sleeve all of my cards. And if cards are sleeved, which is just a plastic envelope that you put the card in. It's just open on one end, and so it's got plastic. Cards come in a lot of sizes. There's standard sizes, and then there's off-standard, and I don't have off-standard size cards for most of the Scowen tier cards. So they're inside of larger sleeves, but sleeves make it so I can actually shuffle. I've never been able to shuffle a deck of cards. I can't do it. I've tried my whole life, and I just can't do it. So having sleeves makes it easy, because you break it in half, you take the bottom of this, set it on the side of the other stack, wiggle them like this, and because they're plastic sleeves, they just go wooga 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 between all the other ones. It doesn't harm the cards, and then you go whoop, squish it together, and that's one shuffle pass. So that really helps. Thumbs up for that. Past that, just been trying to think of various things, mostly about my solo RPG setting, where I kind of wish I had all the stuff necessary to actually publish the thing now. I'm kind of proud of it. It's a lot of work that I've put into it, and a lot of work still. I mean, sociological stuff, where they're the Dwaylen, and they live culturally like Paris did back in the 1800s in our world, which is when Paris sneezed, the rest of the world sniffled, which meant everyone looked to Paris as the cultural capital of the world. What people wore in Paris, the rest of the world would eventually end up doing. That's like the United States is here. When we catch a cold, the rest of the world sneezes. We're having a problem with right-wing authoritarianism and fascism here in the United States right now. When we catch a cold, the rest of the world sneezes. There has been a rise of right-wing authoritarianism around the world. Joy on that. So back to the setting, they enjoy a kind of cultural capital in that fashion. So people look to them as, oh, we want to do this, we want to do that. Now, I can't remember the original point I was going to bring that up, but that's the position that they inhabit, and so that's very cool. I forgot to turn on my light over there for light, so I'm sorry, this is going to be pretty grainy. And I can't remember the rest of it. Oh yes, and various things that I've worked on, like what they call the world. The Dwaylen, the world is Shensha. which is one of a handful of words that has survived from what their language was a long time ago. No one really remembers what it used to mean, but Shensha was an older Dwalin word that just meant dirt, soil. And now it's the word that means the world. For the Hulat over in Karthkog, they just think of the land more in a metaphysical fashion. There is the land, as in the land that you live on. You treat the land well, the land will treat you well. You treat the land poorly, the land will treat you poorly. You overcrop, you overplant, you overfarm, you're not going to be able to farm there anymore. You're going to die. You overhunt, you overfish, you're going to die. You treat the land poorly, the land will treat you poorly. But you do more sustainable farming, you do sustainable hunting, sustainable fishing, the land will treat you well because it's sustainable. They also have the metaphysical, the land, in that they have to act within a certain way. In that you treat the earth well, and the earth will, well, the land well, and the land will treat you well. If you do things against the land, then the metaphysical, the land will punish you. That is why there are at least 4 different branches of Koth, which are like they are a degenerating branch of the Apani species, where in the past they did something against the land, where the corruption that can come in because of these actions has gone and cursed an entire genetic bloodline, where they are descending and degenerating into animals. And then there's Ogle, which are the same for the Hobbs. They have a branch that is descending into, they're becoming animals. So you treat the land well, or the land will not treat you well. And one of those, treating the land well, is why there's no open war or actual warfare, because they're not separate from the land. The Apani are not separate from the land. The Habani are not separate from the land. The Orkani are not separate from the land. They are part of the physical and metaphysical land. Declaring outright war is not treating the land well, and you will be punished with corruption, which is one of the things, though. They had to survive in a certain way, or the species would not have survived. But now that they're moving down into the south, the Orkani are staying to their old ways. Their tribes are moving within their organized area, within the boundaries of their land that they have chosen as their tribal areas. They don't overhunt, they don't overfish, but the Apani who used to do that now farm sustainably. The Habani found that they're more urban. They do have settlements that they are doing as sustainable a fashion as they can. So they are still treating the land well while being able to explore their natures. So thumbs up on that. I just thought I'd go off on that because this is what I'm doing for my setting that originally was just, hey, so I could play it on my own and show you all on the channel what I'm doing. One of the plans that I'm still trying to get done, I hate executive function dysfunction issues, is I want to do the diary of Connor. Is a dear diary type thing. I fought and killed a Koth today. Dear diary, I fought a bandit today. I defeated them, did not kill them, sent them on their way. They were just as inexperienced as I'm going to sign up and emigrate to Karthkog. More detail, but then talk about it like he's writing it down, and then have background noise stuff happening. But put it all in diary fashion like that. His journey, it's a he now, has traveled from the Dwalin continent of Lanua over to the Hulat continent of Karthkog, and the adventures that they are having. So it's something I'm hoping to do So hopefully y'all will enjoy it. I'm trying to find something here. So if you could write skin solutions in the comments to let me know that you've watched this far, and to let the algorithm know that people actually watch these videos, because oh boy, I'm not even breaking 100 views anymore. So if you could share the videos, and that'd be awesome. I inspire a lot of confidence, don't I? Oh well. If you are a Patreon patron, thumbs up and thank you. Your help is greatly, greatly appreciated. If I could, I would type out your names and do what is necessary to put your names up here, but it is so painful just to do the editing on that machine. Well, any editing using a keyboard with this arm is torture. Thumbs up on that. And if you are a Patreon patron, thumbs up, thank you. When you look in the mirror, you know, well, please know that you're a beautiful and awesome person. If you've left me a comment, thumbs up and thank you. I answer as many as I can, which is not as many as I want to. The comments I leave are not as long as I would wish, but each and every comment I read, and the ones that aren't abusive, I appreciate. Thumbs up, thank you. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. So, son of a gun, I'm not going to be able, well, maybe get this thing rendered before I have my appointment. But I got my appointment, and then I'm going to try and treat the rest of the day as if it's normal, even though my anxieties are just almost through the roof right now. They're banging on the ceiling, trying to get through to escape the roof. Yay. So anyway, I hope you can get done what you would like to get done, and if not, don't beat yourself up. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing. Oi. Watching some people online talk about, oh, you know, a good playing video, you know, if it plays poorly, I can get $200 off that. If I do this with, you know, these videos here, they can get a couple $1,000s off of a video. I forget I get paid by YouTube, because I get paid like once a year. You have to break the $100 threshold. I do that about once a year. So, boy, I wish I had it within me to be able to make videos and have a channel that people would actually watch. It'd be nice.